You're listening to the Current Plays Podcast, Season 3, Episode 31, Star Trek Captain's Chair. Now please welcome your hosts, Jordan and Thomas. And welcome back, bold listeners. This week we are talking about Star Trek Captain's Chair. I was lucky enough to pick up a copy of this last week. Something like that.
And
Yeah.
already it's hitting the table.
Oh man, man. So I went in. Actually, no, I called. I called J&J's, our local store, and I said, I was like, can I just get on a wait list for whenever Captain's Chair reprints? And he goes, actually, I have a copy. Somebody had reserved, but they never picked it up.
Oh,
And we
wow.
just haven't put it back on the shelf yet. And I'm like, I will be in right away. So I
I'm
went
already in the
in.
car.
Um, yeah. And then looked around as well and picked up a copy of Unstoppable and a copy of Compile as well, because both
When
of
in
those
Rome.
games I thought were, like out of stock everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
So which this is like Captain's Chair. I'm seeing on Reddit like everyone's wanting this game for good reason. It's really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I should say this is designed by Nigel Buckle and David Turtsey. Which I think David gets the first name on the
Oh, nice.
credits.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This one is published by WizKids. And I wish I knew who the artist was, because I gotta
Whiz
tell
Kids,
you,
really? Yeah, that's
yeah,
interesting.
WizKids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Um, I thought all of the art on the cards and stuff was like screenshots from the show, until I got my hands on this and like really looked at them, and no, they're paintings. Like they're just
That's
super realistic paintings.
that's pretty impressive. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
never yeah, I don't think I looked close enough, but now that you say that, yeah, absolutely. It wasn't like a screen grab of the character or anything. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
But very excellent. Very like nailed it. Because
Yeah.
of the characters I knew, I was like, oh, that's that character. Clearly that character, right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. For sure. So this is a re-implementation of Imperium, which was designed by Nigel Buckle and David Turtsey, right?
And
Um,
this is why I said WizKid, because that one is Osprey, and I'm stepping
right.
up for you that are watching on the screen, but I'm just grabbing the yeah. Here's the Imperium Classics box, and I know Jordan, you
Yeah.
have Imperium Horizon, yeah, Horizons.
Yep.
Right? So yeah, so these two are, and then Legends as well is Osprey Games, which I think have recent news too that they're selling off their board game division.
Oh,
They
really?
sold it off, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, dang.
Which is a shame because I think it was, well, who knows? I wanted to say I think it was doing well for them, but maybe not well enough if they're
Yeah.
selling it off. Uh, and-
Well, it just seems more and more companies are having to do that.
mhm.
Like bad policies and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
high everything right now.
Yeah, yeah, bit of a tangent, but I was last night looking for a Syria second edition by Garphill, and
Right.
it's confirmed that it's not coming to retail at all. You can only get it on the Garphill website,
Hmm.
which I'd be frightened to say that for all our listeners going and buying it before me. But with our seven listeners, I think I'll be okay.
Nice. Nice.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. But
So,
let's talk about Star Trek Captain's Chair.
So let me tell you, I got this. I think it took me a week or so, like or two weekends to get it out. And I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure like if I wanted to play this or Unstoppable.
Mhm.
Oh, actually, no. Let's go back. Let's go back. We were talking about Imperium. So you had Imperium Classics, and
Yes.
I picked up Imperium Horizons, and I played that solo a couple of times. And I remember I was talking to you, and I said, "Dude, I think this is shortly after Voidfall. I think
Yeah.
Voidfall. I had gotten a copy of Voidfall. I played that." And then at Breakout Con, I picked up Imperium Horizons, and
Yeah.
I played that, and I said, I think these two designers are like my new favorite designers.
I remember
And
that conversation. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
that's big, that's huge. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah. Like I love this game so much. And I packed it up and I never got it out again.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
you were saying sort of the same thing, right? Like you're like, this is a really good game, but then once it's on the shelf, you're for some reason you just never comes back out.
The number of times I've thought about, letting go of my copy of Imperium, I think about it oftentimes when I'm thinking about culling, that pops in my head. I should get rid of this one, right? And then I, think about it, and like I said, I like the game. It's got good gameplay, and I enjoy it every time I bring it out. It just, for whatever reason, when I'm looking to play a game, I skip over it every single
Yeah.
time. I'll even look at it on the shelf and be like, But then anytime I get it out, it's like, oh, this is great. This works really well,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And this is the same thing. We were playing this one, and I was going, man, this is so fun. I don't know why I don't get Imperium Classics out
Right.
more, right? Yeah.
So I got this one out and I played the Jean-Luc Picard deck because I TNG was my show for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Um Loved it. Loved it so much that we were supposed to play Last Light. And at the
yeah.
last minute, I'm like, no, I kind of just want to play Captain's Chair again. So we played Captain's Chair. I played the Benjamin Sisko deck this time.
Yeah.
Did terribly.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, but like I did bad, or I did bad. I did poorly, and I felt bad about it. But I tell you, the next day, so yesterday, I'm like, I gotta play this again. It stuck with me.
Yeah.
So even though so I came home, my son and I played Dice Throne missions till pretty much till he had to go to bed. Sent him off to bed. Then I came back down and set up Captain's Chair and played that till way too late last night, or should I say early this morning, because it's just that much fun. So
Yeah.
I guess I should describe how you play this game. Um, so if you're familiar with Imperium, it's the same sort of system with some minor changes. But basically, you have each character in the game, each captain, there are six of them, have their own deck. So this is a deck building game where you have your own unique deck of cards, as well as there is a market of common cards. So there's four different suits in this game. There's people, cargo, ships, and allies who are not people for some reason, even though they're definitely people, but different suits.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and then there's a special deck called the Encounter deck that has like really good high value cards, but they're very like difficult to get. And then there's a deck of location cards, which are like different planets from the series, or all the different series, I should say. So your deck, you start out with like 10 cards. Some of them are unique, some of them are shared between the different decks. So I noticed your deck, you played the Klingon captain,
Yes.
um,
Koloth, I think it
Koloth,
was.
thank
Yeah.
you. Uh, you had different those directive cards, which are like action cards, let's say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yours were different than mine, but the ones that Cisco had were the same ones that Picard had. So I thought that
Oh.
was interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, you've got these action cards, and then you've got other. So you'll have like different crew members and stuff, or ships, right? So the neat thing is they have they're like multi-use cards. So you can play. There's actions on the cards where you can free play, or actions where you can play, but it's going to cost you an action. Like an action point, let's say, right? You get three action points, and some of them cost an action point and some don't. Then there's if they're on the table, they can have special abilities during the the resupply phase, which is like the income phase basically, or actions during the cleanup phase. Uh, and then there are other actions, and these can all be on the same card. Um, Other actions that are either reactions or special abilities that you can activate, but you can only do those if that card is promoted to your duty officer. So you've got your captain, and you can promote any of these people to be your duty officer in order to get those special actions. And I think not just people, I think there are other cards too that you can promote to duty officer for those special abilities. So it's very interesting the timing, obviously with a deck builder, when you draw your card, do you get the card that you need when you need it? And then, what slots is it competing against with other cards in your hand? Like, oh, I
Yeah.
really want um, this Ferengi to be my
Duty
Quark
officer.
from
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
for the when we were playing Benjamin Sisko from DS9, Quark's is a Ferengi, and I wanted him to be my duty officer because in the income step, I'm getting resources, I'm getting latinum, but but every time he came up, there was like other things that I wanted to do with him, right? Because his main ability is also very good, like his sort of playable ability is also very good. The duty officer I had out was very good, So it's making those decisions. It's one of those games you want to do everything, but you can't. So you have to prioritize what
Yeah.
you have at the time. So there's tactics that way, but you then also have to be thinking about the overall strategy of your deck. So, for example, after we played, I kind of was like, okay, I think I'm starting to see what this deck is trying to do and where I went wrong. You've got Cisco's deck has this one card. You start with the low controlled location, and you have to send there has to be an away team on that card, and if there is, you can tap it to draw a card. If you have three away teams on any of your controlled locations, you'll draw another card.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
But it's hard to get away teams on that card specifically
Yeah.
because you don't have any like native abilities at the beginning to just send an away team anywhere you want.
Yeah.
So you have to find a way to get away teams to that planet. So when we played, I had to put one away team there, and then I had to put three away teams on a different planet because it had one of the keywords that let me
Yeah.
get away
Yeah.
teams there a little easier, right? But then that's one extra action because I needed one extra away team. And it ended up, I didn't prioritize it. So it ended up coming a little later in the game. But last night, as I thought, I'm like, no, I'm going to prioritize this. So I put other things aside to get away teams there as fast as possible. And then just every turn, I'm drawing cards, as many cards as I can to get through that deck. Because what happens is once you run through the deck, then you recruit a new card. So every deck has the cards you start with, and then it has what are called reserve cards, which you are going to shuffle at the beginning of the game, and then every time you go through your deck, you're going to gain a reserve card. And once your reserve cards are gone, then you get access to yet another group of cards called the development deck, the development cards. And these ones now, every time you run through your deck, you get to look through those development cards and choose one to gain. But of course, you have to pay for those ones. So,
But they are often your like A, high powered cards, but B, also high scoring cards as
mhm,
well. So you're trying, especially in a two player, you're trying to get to that deck as quick as possible so you can
right.
get those very powerful cards and end the game before your opponent has time to get theirs, right? And that's what was trying to do during our play. It's funny you talk about that planet because I had that planet in my reserve cards. So
Okay.
I had drawn the same ability. I don't know if it was the same planet, but it was a planet that had that same ability. And I think it had a third ability that if you discarded two of the crystals, then you could, I think, draw another card, right? So
Wow.
potentially draw three cards on a round. So one away team on that planet, three away teams on various planets, and a discard two
Hmm.
crystals for a third card, right? But where I differ too is that my captain had the ability that allowed me to just place an away team on a planet somewhere, right? With the caveat that you get to draw a card, right? So I was
Right.
letting you have better draw, but I was able to get when I finally got that planet, I was able to use either his ability or actually I think what I did was I flew a ship there, dropped it off, and then I had a my duty officer allowed me to like untap the ship essentially and then take it off because usually when a ship is somewhere you can't I was essentially I wanted my ships back so that I could send them out to cards and to other planets and whatnot, right? So I had used it to I think to send a ship there and then warp an away team to that planet, and then I wanted the ship back, so I took it back as
Yeah.
well or something, right? So
A lot of the abilities to send away teams are reliant on having a ship at a
mhm,
location,
mhm.
which is thematic. So this whole game, like, I'd love to get your take because you're not, you've watched Star Trek, but you're not a big
Yeah,
Trekkie.
yeah. I've never finished like a series of Star Trek. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Right, right.
yeah,
Actually, I'm gonna drop some names here, but I was actually speaking with David Turtzi, just like through chat,
yeah, yeah,
uh, because I this is couple of years ago. I actually asked him to come on the show, and he couldn't or
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
want to, but what he did want to do was talk about this game because I guess he
Yes.
was developing it or it was just coming out. And so we ended up actually just talking about Star Trek. And that guy knows his Trek. And you can just tell, like, he just pours all of that knowledge and heart and soul into this game where every ability, every card is thematic.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, you need to have basically a ship, a large ship to go to a planet so that you can send an beam down an away team to that planet, right? Um
yeah, yeah.
that's the thematics there, right?
And
Yeah.
honestly, like we were talking, and we are saying how it's connected to the Imperium Classics. This is almost like a 2.0 version, I
Yeah.
would argue, right? And they do a few things that I think is really cool. A, it's got a theme to it that, Classics and Horizons they had a theme in the sense that it was like ancient civilizations, right?
Hmm.
Um, and then yeah, I guess you were playing a civilization and trying to expand it, whatever, right? Getting the cards based on that civilization, right? Like you might, if you play the Romans, you might get, you'd had like Caesar as your leader, and then you might unlock the Colosseum as one of those development cards. Same type of thing. Those are those cards. I think one of the cards in there is like a triumph card, which obviously was, the Romans go into battle and they come and they'd throw a big party. It was a triumph for the general, and that was how they gained a lot of fame and whatever, right? So those kind of cards are in there, and you could get those in the development cards, right? This one here adds like obviously like an existing IP, yeah,
Hmm.
as the theme, right? So it's got that Star Trek background to it. And I think just this system is really, I feel like conducive to that, where if you can have this sort of existing IP or this sort of theme that is a little more than just, ancient civilizations, um, it worked really well. Like I thought it was pretty neat because like even from the card market point of view, whenever a Klingon came on there, I was like, I want to get more Klingons in
Right.
my Klingon Empire, right? Or like this is a Klingon weapon I took and stuff, right? So like some of it kind of I didn't really feel that like with classics, everything you took was related to, I mean, I guess the market could be random stuff or whatever, but nothing was really. I don't know what I'm trying to say is not as thematic as this was with
Yeah.
like the market all like there's certain characters even in the market that I was like, oh, I actually know that character or whatever, right? Because again, I haven't ever watched a full series of Star Trek. I'd like to, and I always enjoyed any episode that I watched. But I just never took the time to actually, sit down and consume it all. But
Hmm.
this game, like whenever something that I was like, oh, I actually know this character, or like I think Data came up at one point near the end. He was on the market row that could be purchased, kind of thing. I was like, I know that character, right? Um, yeah, yeah. So, and I don't know if it was Data or if it was Lorne. I didn't actually read the card.
So actually, it was B4
Oh, okay. There we go. See, I did read
who,
it. Yeah.
yeah, because this came up and I was like, who's B4 and why does he look like Data? Uh, it's basically
Yeah, Android.
another
Yeah.
android that Dr. Soon made.
Yeah.
It was from, I think, Nemesis, the movie,
Okay,
is the only
interesting.
place
Yeah.
it showed up. Yeah. So not Data, not Lore, a
Yeah.
different android brother
Brent
that,
Spinner. I
yeah,
think it's Brent, right? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Spiner.
Spiner. That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 But
But yeah, I
what
recognized him. I was like, oh, look. Yeah. Yeah.
so as somebody like, do you think this game would be worthwhile for somebody who, okay, let's split this question up a little bit. For somebody who, not like you, like, okay, lukewarm on Star Trek, you enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or somebody who like they don't like Trek.
If you don't like Trek, yeah, I don't think you're going to want to play this one. If you hate Star Trek, I can't see you enjoying this one. If you enjoy it but don't consume it, like if you're in my camp, I think you can enjoy this one, right? It also like you put out three planets and you're kind of like trying to vie for control of the various planets. You
Hmm.
may or you may not. We didn't often battle over planets. I don't think we did it at all, actually. We kind of stuck to individual planets and only took a couple from like the center of the play area, right? So that planet thing though, and sending ships, it's got that sci-fi vibe. So if you're just into sci-fi, you can enjoy it from that aspect without being a Trekkie as well, right? It's
Yeah.
got a good feeling for that just with a Star Trek overlay to it, right? So if you're just into sci-fi, yeah, this would
Yeah.
do it for you kind of thing, right? But Star Trek is a great IP, right? I think they could also do like Star Wars with this would also fit, right? Because it's got that same it would be a pretty easy switch up if you
Reskin.
added, yeah, reskin if you added like the Star Wars characters and you'd have to retitle things and whatnot, but you could totally do that with this type of system for sure.
You're gonna
Uh,
start
d-
fights.
yeah, well, yeah. Does this game need that? I don't think so. I think it does well with Star Trek. I don't think it needs to have a Star Wars version to it.
Yeah.
There's enough Star Wars games out there.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
And if I were to like, I've seen, I think mostly everything Star Wars. That's not entirely true. I haven't seen all the animated stuff or anything like that. And some of the newish Disney Plus channel stuff. I haven't seen, but I've seen all the like the movies, right? And I would argue, and here's where we're going to start fights. I like the Star Trek universe better than I like the Star Wars universe. My problem with Star Wars, now we're on a tangent, is just the plot armor. And I know that
Hmm.
exists in Star Trek as well, uh, to a degree. And maybe more of a degree than I know, because again, I haven't consumed the full series. But it really bothers me in Star Wars. Because you have these big epic battle scenes where the good guys nothing happens to them,
Right,
right?
right.
Right. So versus you have a red shirt and the red shirt is going to die, and it's like, good, somebody died. Let's do that, right? Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right.
So yeah,
Yeah. I I mean, I'm not like a crazy Trekkie fan. Like I don't mean I mean like I'm not a huge Trekkie fan, but I would call myself a Trekkie.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um, but yeah, so the theme drips and it's great. But beyond that, I love the mechanics in this game.
they're really
So
good. Yeah,
you've got these different decks that I mean, just trying to figure out how this deck wants to play and figuring out how to play it optimally is an amazingly fun puzzle, right? And then you have to navigate how am I going to play this deck with, the cards that come out in the market. So the first game I played, and I'm trying to figure out this deck, I got just market cards that just gelled well together,
yeah,
and I got like well over 100 points, which is pretty good. um,
yeah, yeah,
so there's there's that it's very combo-tastic, right? That way, it's
yeah,
got a million keywords or whatever, but you're looking for those different traits and how does this ability trigger with those traits, and some of those cards will score for those traits and stuff. So I feel like once you play it more and more and you get to know all the cards, then you can even go even deeper and try and, okay, yeah, like that planet that gave you points for shady, and I
yeah,
knew I had picked up a few shady cards along the way, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll try and get a couple more shady cards and then get control of this planet, and got quite a number of points out of it. So I love that part of it. And then the other part of this game that I love is the way it handles. So in deck building, you always want to be able to get rid of cards, right? You always want to junk the cards, that the starter cards or the cards that don't do well. Well, this game gives you some really cool options for that. Instead of just
it
getting rid
does.
of cards, you tuck cards basically, right? So you've got the captain's log. So you can, if you have an ability that lets you log cards, you tuck them under your captain. Then they're out of your pool of cards, but you still have them for the end of the game for scoring, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then the other thing you can do is beam cards, which lets you tuck cards under a ship. And the neat thing about that is that you still count like the traits. So if you have cards that are comboing for traits or abilities that need is like a certain number of traits, and you get a card that has these traits, but the abilities maybe don't work for you, you just beam it to a ship. Now, so now you have that card. It's working for you still, but it's not clogging up your hand. I love it. It's brilliant.
It is pretty brilliant. And just hearing you talk about that too. So I had these two cards in my opening deck that were really cards that you didn't want in an opening hand or an opening
Yeah.
deck, that you just couldn't really use them just yet because they took away from your development essentially, right? They did good stuff, but they slowed your development. And I didn't know what to do with it, so I just kept discarding them, right? And it wasn't till like later in the game that I was like, oh, I can beam this to a ship. And
Yeah.
I wasn't able to actually take advantage of it fully because by the time I realized and beamed it, the game was close to ending and I didn't end up getting it back. But like, had I earlier beamed this card to the ship, and then when I was ready to bring it out because I had a good engine going, I could have, you know, got that
Beamed it
ship
back.
off, all those cards would have went to discard, and then they would have been back to my hand, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
boom, now I'm in the right space to spend those, where I'm not slowing my early game development to play them, right? So,
Yeah.
and that's a brilliant way of doing that doesn't exist in classics or Horizon, to my knowledge, on the Horizon side, right?
Right.
So I found that fascinating, and like it's such a it's such an interesting game. Just the like you said, there's so much to kind of pay attention to and think about and strategize how you're going to plan out your turn, because some actions don't take an activation, but you only have three activations in a turn that you can, flip over these chits to say, okay, I'm activating this ability or whatever, right? So you're trying to find cards that don't cost anything to play, but usually those are a little weaker, or they do an interesting thing. So I talked about my captain having the ability to send an away team. So there was one extra aspect to that. So not only do you have to draw a card, so I'm letting you draw your deck faster, so you get access to those reserve cards, which is what I don't want to do for you. But I
Right.
also have to take one of my cards and put it on top of my draw deck. So I'm
Yes.
slowing my drawing down too. So it's like double the speed going, I'm speeding you up. Like
Yeah.
that was interesting thing to do. But then also like cards from the market, you kind of want to buy those cards because like they might do good stuff, but then they're slowing down your deck too, because then that's more cards
Right.
you got to churn through to get to your reserves, right? But then those cards also have victory points on them. Like they give you points, so it's like, oh yeah, but I'm also getting points. So there's all these little decisions. Do I do this now? Well, I want to burn through these, but if I do this, and so there was many turns where I had to like do things in the proper order. And one turn I was like, at the start of the turn, I was like, wait, can I switch this around? Because it
Right.
was exactly that. It was like, and one turn as well, like I did something where I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna draw and this is gonna be great. And then I like did my captain's ability and put my card on top. And then I did the draw and I pulled it up. I was like, wait a minute, I already had this card. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, because I just put it on. It was like I should have drawn first and then put,
Yeah.
and I was like, whatever, it's fine. But yeah, those are the type of things. So you're trying to like, and then your deck, you only get the reserve card if you go to draw and you can't because your deck is empty, right?
Right.
So you have a, hand of five. So you're drawing up to five. Well, if you draw five and then you have no more in the draw deck, well, you didn't draw again, so you don't get that extra card, right? So you have to wait to the next. So you're trying to only like have four so that
Hmm.
you get the reserve card, right? And then if you have to put one back, it's like, oh no, that's not good because now I'm back at five. And then I ended up getting this one card as my duty officer that like if I didn't take all my actions, my hand limit would increase, which is a fascinating mechanic as well, because it's like, okay, now you have more cards to do stuff with, but you still only have the same amount of actions. But if you're drawing more cards, you're hopefully emptying your reserve faster, getting to those juicier development cards, right? So,
Yep.
but it's also to get that power, you're not taking actions, right?
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like all this, okay, I have all these things I can do, but I don't want to do any of them because I don't want to spend the actions so that I could so I could discard all these cards and redraw everything back. Yeah, so it was
Yeah.
really neat, just the thought processes that go into, every turn of this game.
Yeah. Shoot, I was gonna say something, and I totally forgot. Yeah, it's you can tell like everything in here is so well thought out.
Yeah, yeah, it really is.
Um, it's a 1 to 2 player game. There are various solo modes. So there's a they call it a cadet practice mode where basically you're playing the deck and there's like a you're not playing against anything. There's a like quote virtual bot that you just treat as it has one of everything and there's no actual anything to manipulate.
Right, right.
Um, just for the purpose of abilities and stuff, like if you're going to steal a resource, it has one of that resource. Or if you're trying to fight over a planet, it has one away team at that planet, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Then there's another mode which is similar to the Imperium solo mode where you choose one of the unused captains and you play them as a bot.
yeah, yeah.
And you're just going to flip cards. And depending on the keywords on those cards, you're going to look at a list and it's going to say, okay, well, if it has the Klingon keyword, this is what it does.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's neat because those programmed actions simulate how that deck would play. So it's not
That
just
is pretty
like
neat. Yeah.
ubiquitous for it's not like one bot doing the same things for no matter the deck. It's like no, you're actually playing against something that's mimicking that captain.
Sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then they have different difficulty levels for that too. And then there's the 2 player version. So no matter who you are, no matter what you want out of this game, there's something for everybody.
A lot of content in this box. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Like I highly enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I would recommend.
Yeah, 100%. High recommend. And that wraps up another episode of the Current Plays podcast. Check us out next week on YouTube or your favorite podcast provider. But until then, good gaming and good night.
Good night, folks.